Hi everybody, welcome to today's session. So the goal of today is to help firms stop the email ping pong back and forth with your clients. I'm sure you've all been there, had that experience. This is why we made Seamlss and designed it to allow you to stop that back and forth ping pong. So who am I? I'm Clayton Wood. I'm the co-founder of Seamlss. I have an accounting firm. We utilize Seamlss every day. And we obviously built Seamlss as a part of that to help our firm. And the idea with Seamlss to help our firm is the same reason we want it to help your firm. If you're joining today, feel free to mute yourself, turn on or off your video if you want to be on the recording. It is recorded. We'll be able to share this on YouTube later. And the goal is to obviously help firms win at the end of the day. So talk about my story. So what happened is we had a large client. They're around $8,000 plus a year to us, which, you know, to some firms is not much, but to some firms like me, it's a lot. And basically, we got this new client, seemed really great. The funniest part of the story is I did tax planning in May, I think it was May 22, and I saved them $40,000 in tax. And then a few months later, we started doing their financials, and I said, hey, we need this information to complete your tax return and your financials. And that's where it started. They gave me like a couple of answers, and then it's like, oh, we've got this quick question. We need this other stuff. And then, you know, a month later, oh, we need these documents. Oh, that's the wrong one. And then another month later, we're still missing these documents and bank statements. Oh, yeah, here's something. And then each time I would keep asking for this, he would send me some extra bits and then ask some other questions. So the email back and forth just become ridiculous because the client didn't do the one thing I'd asked, which was I think it was around October, November, send me the information to complete their financials. We're talking months later, like March, April. We're still going back and forwards with this information, processing the financials. And you would think that over that time, yeah, I would have just said, oh, here's that stuff. But just through the back and forth and sheer length of the email chain, driving me crazy, I eventually got back to March, April of still trying to chase these documents. And he was still going back and forth with his loans and his brokers and trying to get these statements so we could finish his financials. And then at the end, I think we got it down to like April, May, had the financials, got them in, and then they're like, yeah, no, we're not happy. We're going elsewhere. And I was like, I've saved you $40,000 in tax the year before. All these emails and back and forwards, I felt like it wasn't entirely my fault, but, you know, using the all-bed method, take some ownership. Maybe we could have handled it a bit better. Maybe I could have had a better process. We were just doing what we'd always done. And now we utilize Seamlss. So whether it's a tax return, financials, or anything like that, we're utilizing the InstaFetch method in Seamlss to reduce that back and forth. So what was really happening is, for me and the team, we're wasting hours a week per client. There's obviously security risks with any sensitive document that you're sending over email. An email can get a bit messy. Obviously, the clients can get frustrated if they're using different portals and things, if they've got multiple passwords. Maybe they lose emails. Maybe they lose track of their emails. Maybe they lose access to their emails. Obviously, it's just more stress on the team as well. They're chasing, they're following up, they're apologizing. The whip's blowing out because I'm asking for different things to get finished, and they're busy chasing it up, and I'm getting frustrated because the clients probably aren't giving them what they want the first instance, much like it was for me. So, you know, we lost that $8,000 client, but how many times has that happened in the past? Probably other times, just because they got annoyed by the email back and forth. There's got to be a better way. Obviously, you know, if you're losing 10 hours a week in different emails and admins and your team members, depends on how big your team is with how many hours you're losing, but then obviously the reputation damage. That client left a 1-star review. And I was pretty annoyed by the 1-star review because I was like, you're saying that it was all on us, but they took zero ownership of their own inability to answer the emails that were been asked of them several times. And on the flip side, I was like, I saved you $40,000 in tax and you didn't value any of that. And it just shows that where the clients sort of sit sometimes is you can save them all the money in the world, but at the end of the day, if they have no ownership in what they are or are not doing, you can't control that. So control what you can control and make changes in your firm to improve those processes, that's what's really going to count at the end of the day. So how does it help? Well, for us, we had a busy whip. You know, we're always trying to chase our tails. Where's this client up to? What's going on here? What's going on there? Whereas now it's all centralized, controlled. And at the end of the month, my team, Celeste, the practice manager, she can just go in and make sure the team is constantly following up and chasing those last minute documents to get them. You know, you're getting rid of multiple emails back and forth, and you're just having one link to the client to collect that information. It could go from 2 to 6 hours per client per email down to minutes. You know, it's not having multiple different apps, so they're not going from one place. Especially, it could be a portal or something where it's very they drop their files in, but they don't actually know what files to drop in. And I think that's key. The admin practice follow-up process, they're also not sure on what that could look like. Just 1 second, I just got to answer a question here. That follow-up in that one place, in that one process. So my admin team will follow it up and get it in. So you could have the accountants in the system following it up, but obviously if you've got the admin team following it up, that's one person funneling all of the work and maintaining that focus so that when the work comes in and the answers come in, they can go over to the accountant and go, the job's ready to get going again. So the accountant's focused. They're not in their emails going backwards and forwards with different clients. Work comes in, work goes out. One place, one process, one simplified way to get it done. Now we'll jump in and start some questions. So if I switch across to Seamlss here, we're in the dashboard. I've got a fresh new demo account at the moment. So we have our client here, Clayton Wood, and we're going to send him some questions. So the idea with InstaFetch was I wanted it really, really easy in order to send clients answers and get the answers. I didn't want to have to build another form. I didn't want to have to go in and send a quick fetch or another form. Well, I've logged myself out here. Winning on board there. Give me 1 second. Sign me back in. There we go. So here we are back in with Clayton Wood. So in Seamlss, you could send a quick fetch request. So you could build out different questions, add more questions on the fly. You could select different templates and things like that and send off those questionnaires and rebuild them. But the whole point of that is it's a whole nother process. I've got to go in, I've got to build the questions. Who wants to do that every single time? You just want it quick and easy. You want to send an email. So instead, we built InstaFetch to keep it in one place. So InstaFetch, you just click on the button and then type in the person's name. So we'll type in Clayton Wood, add him as a client. You can also edit the descriptions. So you could give it a description to allow you to track it a bit better and things like that. It could be end of financial year questions. The following to finalize your accounts. Now, this could be for a BAS, it could be for a tax return, it could be certain financials. Done. Now, what are the questions? So if you've got a work paper, you could just copy and paste. So if it was a work paper, it's probably something like how much stock on hand? And you likely have these questions sitting in the work paper at the end in the financials, in the work paper somewhere where it's what are the questions. So what's the next one? Maybe we needed a bank statement, which is, you know, quite common. I want the bank statement. Please upload the CBA 1st to 7th, 2024 to 30th to 6th, 2025. Give the client some instructions. Usually you're going to just copy and paste the questions. Hopefully they'll give you some answers back and or documents. Done. Now I've got my answers and my questions and I'm ready to send it out. It's just that easy. So obviously I've typed that in, but more than likely the accountant would have already prepared these questions as they've been building the financials, and they'll be just sitting there. And that's what I wanted. I wanted just a copy paste solution, not to have to go and build out a whole bunch of questions. That was it. You could just type in the client's name, copy paste the questions and hit send. And that sends the questions off to the client. Here I am in the client email. And here it is come in already, just that quick. Send a question, we want some information. View the request, get the code, so it's all secured, 2FA, no emails, just the SMS on my phone. Enter, and here are the quick questions. So in the financial questions, we require the following information. So how much stock on hand? Maybe they've got $25,000 worth. And the bank statement. Here it is. And I'll just drag and drop that as the client demo. If they're on their phone, they may just take photos or upload from their phone. This one here, so, oops, I forgot to hit the touch button. Go to, it was a new computer. It's a new computer, finish. Now, on the flip side, the client can go to their client area and they can also send you documents. So we also have the send document feature for the client. So this is the client portal where they can view their requests, view their information, and also documents. So if I send a document to me, there it is here. Server. And that will also send the request to the firm. Oops. And then hit send, and off it goes. Oh, didn't work. Let's go back in here. Didn't like that file type. New server, invoice. Taps that, send it. And now we'll get that request from the firm. So I'll log out as the client, close that screen, come back in as the firm, refresh the screen, go to the dashboard, and here you go. You can now see that Clayton has completed the InstaFetch, and I can go in. I would have gotten a notification on my email that that is completed, so I can, as an admin team member, I can go, oh, Clayton's done the job. Let's go in and get the documents. If you've got document management solution, some of those documents will have automatically flowed through to your DMS. Here we can get the answers though, stock on hand, the new computer, and we can view the file. There's the bank statement. We can get started and start completing the job. So if the client has been sent an InstaFetch, you can send an email, SMS reminder. So if I just do another one, we go Clayton Wood. We need your sheep numbers. Very common that you don't get the amount of sheep from the client. Send that. So if it's been a day or a week and you're like, where's that job? Where's the information? Come on, client, send me the stuff. You can send an SMS. You can also send an email reminder and track where those requests are up to in the dashboard on Seamlss. And you can also go into the client and view where they're at with that as well. So because you can actually see in the history of what the client has done, whether they've logged in or not, whether they've completed the form, whether you've deleted it. So that is how InstaFetch works. Now, do we have any questions in the chat? Sorry. Here.
None yet, Clayton.
None yet. Excellent. Hopefully, firms have been using the InstaFetch. the idea with the InstaFetch was to allow you to collect those documents securely and easily. So hopefully you can see from the clarity. So from sending it from email to sending it through Seamlss Fetch, it's giving us one point of reference for the client. So one, it's going to be secure. Two, it's quick and easy. And three, we've got a way to follow them up. And then once they're done, we can continue on with our things. I've got a lot of trouble. If the 2FA isn't good, there is the MFA via email. Yes, Keith, that is an option. We do have backup as MFAs via email. So the idea with Seamlss, I'll finish this off today, but the idea is that if you need more support, you can sign up. It's $600 a year for 1,200 requests. Now, that could be 1,200 InstaFetch requests. The one request usually has one SMS attached to it. If you need more, we'll just tap you on the shoulder and say to upgrade. We find that's plenty for most firms. If you want to test it out, it's per month. It's only $60 a month, and that's 100 requests per month. One request could be Clayton, his 5 entities in an engagement letter as well. If you want some help onboarding and implementing, we can help. If you want to do it yourself, you can also onboard and get all the help and guidance on our website. I think it's going to load slowly because I'm logged in. But on our website, you can definitely get started for free right here. If you've got any questions, reach out. But if that's it, I'm happy to finish up the webinar here and show you some other stuff. I can also show the InstaSend option, which is around sending documents to clients securely through Seamlss, so you don't have to redact the TFN and secure information like that. So I'll stop the recording now and just give you a demo of that. I appreciate everyone for coming. Thank you.